Hi there, everybody. We are going to go ahead and get started here in just a moment. Hi there, everybody. Thanks for joining us on another weekly ConnectSMART webinar. My name is Jen Coffey. Gail Vaughn and David Ortiz are also joining me today. You might know them from our help desk or the Pro Services team. Today we're going to be reviewing new features in ConnectSMART SP. If you have any questions during today's webinar, go ahead and enter those into your GoToWebinar control panel. There's a chat, or you can also raise your hand. We will pause throughout the webinar to take questions, and we will also be popping up some polls at a couple of points throughout the webinar to invite you to give us a little feedback on what we're going to be discussing. This is actually a sample of what we're going to be discussing today that you see on the screen here. Let me go ahead and show you another thing. All right, so I do like to touch on our docs site during our webinars because when we're done with the webinar, we're going to go ahead and upload it to the docs site.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Sorry about that. Looks like we had a momentary audio issue. I will go ahead and get started again. We didn't miss too much. Okay, so hello again for everyone who didn't hear me. And thanks for joining us on another weekly webinar. My name is Jen Coffey, and I've also got Gail Vaughn and David Ortiz with us. You may know them from our help desk and our pro services team. We are going to be reviewing new features that have been released in ConnectSMART SP in recent days and weeks. If you have any questions today, go ahead and enter them into your GoToWebinar control panel chat. We will pause for questions throughout as we get to some nice stopping points. We will also be inviting you to give us a little feedback on some of the features we're going to be reviewing today. You can do that through the poll that'll just pop up in the screen that you're viewing, your GoToWebinar window, and so that will be great. We're going to get some ideas about what things you like the most, what's most important, and what you'd like to see next. So I do like to take a moment in all of our webinars to touch on our docs site. We do record all of our webinars, and they are available here. So if you go to our docs site, you can see upcoming webinars, and immediately under that, you will see the archive. And this is where our webinar page will show up. So you'll be able to sort by air date. It'll get published immediately after we wrap up today. And you'll be able to share it with team members or come back and see anything that you might have missed. And okay, so any related docs, the screenshots, things that we're covering today will also be referenced there on that page. So if there's any best practices, tips, links to external references, things like that, we'll make sure we get them all in one place for you. So I am going to go ahead and get started, just dive right into some of the nuts and bolts. If you are an active CSP client or a trial user, you might have seen some of these new things appear in the last day or so. So you might have gotten a bit of a sneak preview. What you see on the screen in front of you, these are all HTML widgets. So the HTML widgets, color conditions, direct URLs for public dashboards, the option to email or export data from a table widget, and some dashboard view and browse options are what we're going to actually cover today. But starting with the HTML widgets, these are a sample of some HTML widgets that we've put together. At its base, these all have the same widget. They're just configured to look at different content. So I will go ahead and pop this guy out of the way. I'm going to get my other dashboard. So here's how you can see another one that's being used alongside some of our normal widgets in a normal kind of service desk dashboard. So this center one is an HTML widget. It's just showing you the Fortinet threat map. It's just embedded in there. And these are just text. So we're formatting text here. Here we're embedding external content. And I'm going to go ahead and take us out to the Widget Creator so you can actually see it in action. So start from scratch. We do a new webinar HTML widget. And there we go. So out of the box, it just starts with a very simple sample HTML in place. You do have 3 different types that you can use, so it'll actually do a little formatting for you depending on what you're doing. Raw HTML is obviously going to give you the most control. If you're just trying to get an image popped in there, maybe a logo for your dashboard, the image URL is going to allow you to get that in there without having to do any other HTML formatting. And the web page, this will actually iframe for you without having to go and generate a separate iframe, so you can just use the URL pasted in there. Just to show you how we'd recreate one of these, let's see. So we've got YouTube's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and do a YouTube video. We'll go to ConnectSMART and find one of our videos from maybe last week. There we go. Well, we don't really want to actually listen to it right now, so I'm going to go ahead and share. Embed that. I'm just going to grab this embed. I'm going to come over here, paste it in. What is going on here? Oh, sorry. There we go. All right, so I need to switch that back to the raw HTML, since in this case the way YouTube gives you that embed code is it's actually an iframe, so we're going to use that in raw HTML. You can change the width and height, but it will actually just sort of adjust with you, so just leave it as it is because it does allow full screen by default. You can change your background color if you'd like. I'm going to leave it as is so that it just stays with how my dashboard is themed. Go ahead and save that. And if I want to go ahead and pop this on a webinar whip. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add that webinar widget. All right, so we can adjust that. Now those are only going to work. You're going to have to play those. You did maybe notice that we had the TV or the local TV news playing, and that will actually play all the time. We actually like this a lot for, say, a reception dashboard. So let me take a look at that for you so you can see an example of what I'm going to do. So you've got your folks, they come to your office, they're sitting in your reception area, they need your guest Wi-Fi, maybe they want to help themselves to a beverage, you give them some directions so they can get to the bathroom if they need to, and you keep them entertained, show the local news, have the BBC and RSS feed kind of running through, you can point it at technology news specifically. But this is just another way you can use dashboards, right? We're not just managing help desks and things. These can be used to keep your clients entertained. You can share very interesting external content, all kinds of things with your internal and your external folks. But so that TV one, and these sample widgets, I will go ahead and get published for everyone so you can kind of copy them. But to make that one, that TV, we'd actually go to live stream. We pick the news feed that we want, and we are in sunny South Florida, so we're going to grab West Palm Beach. Going to go to share. Going to go to this full link to get the embed code and that. So the sky is the limit. You can basically, anything you can think of that you can find with a widget, with an embed, you can pop into one of these widgets and expect it to work pretty much right out of the box. Oh, sorry, let me do a new. All right, so this is local news. Okay, so there is my local news, and that will just play all the time unless I pause it. So that's nice to have out on a dash that is running stuff that you'd like to have up all the time. but it gets a little more interesting for someone who's stuck waiting in your reception area and doesn't want to read your 3-year-old magazines. So another option you've got. All right. So this clock widget you see, this is just another simple widget that we've grabbed from a free clock website. This RSS feed is coming from a normal, just an RSS feed generator. You can make a Twitter widget from if you basically just go log into Twitter, go to your settings. There's all sorts of instructions on how to make one, but you can basically, anything public, you can go ahead and get embedded in the dashboard here. I'm going to go ahead and show you this image. So this is using the image type, not the raw HTML. So this is just getting us generic company logo. So just get the URL for that. So we just want the direct URL for the actual image. And we can go ahead and make that one. Okay, so this one doesn't require anything but a URL. Ta-da! And when we come back out here, actually, let's go ahead and make this guy a little better. Let's use the logo. All right, this we can actually, so see how this scrolls? We don't really like that, it doesn't look very good. I'm actually going to go ahead and change that in the Widget Creator. I'm going to go open that back up, which actually I could have done from the dashboard, and I'll show you that next. All right, let's give it a height of 75. So I'm going to go to edit mode in the dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And here I can actually make those changes as well. I don't have to do it back there. Now, if I wanted a background color, I could force it instead of having it be transparent. And let's see. So not a whole lot going on there. It's basically pretty straightforward. It just asks for that URL. You set the size and you're good to go. Okay. Gail, do we have any questions on the HTML widget right now? We've got lots and lots of examples we're going to make available to folks, but if there's, okay. All right, looks like we do not have any questions yet. So next we are going to take a look at color conditions. So let's go ahead and where's this guy? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to edit mode so I can modify my widgets. Oops, I hit it twice. Sorry about that. Okay, so new tickets. I actually have a color condition in here. Let's actually pick one that's got some stuff on it. So for no time, the way the color conditions work, you see this that is now has the customer update. It has the red background. I've got the white text. That's just because I gave it a color condition that says if the value is above 0, turn the font white, turn the background red. So you'll see this in all the text gauges now. You can go ahead and change your, sorry, here we go. So you can actually set it to do nothing if it's above a certain value, if it's below a certain value, or if it's equal to a certain value. Those are the options that you've got. But so for example, no time, I will go ahead and let's see, we will say if it is above 5, We will turn the font orange and the background. There we go. All right. So you won't see it here, but you will see that flip around. Oh, did I not save it? I'm not sure what's going on with my background color here. I think it may actually just wait for it to load the rest of the dashboard before it starts applying the color conditions. So that may actually be, it's just a delay while it loads the rest of the dashboard. So Brett's got a question about any tips for pages that require authentication. Those typically you're going to have to log in. We've got a few folks using, like they've got a ConnectWise login even, but then they actually have to log in inside the iframe. So I don't have a good answer for that. If somebody else does, we would happily go ahead and share that with anybody who's got questions about it. But I do not have a good answer for that other than just logging in or setting it to save your credentials. And Brad also asked, do we have more than one color condition per widget? Right now, there's just one. There's plans to add additional thresholds and some more granular control, but right now there's just the one. And if I don't have any more right now, I will go ahead and get that back out. Okay, so let me pop back, get my reception. Okay. So next up today is going to be direct URLs. And the way that works is basically to get in here, we have to log in, right? I've got to log in to my ConnectSMART console. I've got to go to my dashboard. I can keep the direct URL, but if I'm not logged in, I'm still going to get prompted to log in. If we want to bypass that, say we want to have this up on a display all the time, we never want anyone to ever have to log back into it. It's just, we just want it up all the time. We want it to set it and forget it and never think about it again. You can do that with a public URL. And you do that, you just, actually, sorry, let me go back. It would help if I show you. So up here where we had, the refresh, full screen, browse, we've got manage public URLs. You'll select that, you'll hit add. We're going to name this public reception dashboard for webinar. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to copy that and get this guy here. All right, so I am not prompted to log in. I am here, and you see this looks a little funky, so we would want to fiddle around with that, with the height, get that probably squared away. But this we can use anytime. You guys can access it directly by going to it yourselves. I'm actually going to go ahead and put it in the chat. Matt mentioning our weather is fantastic. Yes, Matt, that's why some of us moved here. And Dordas, David is one of those people down here who thinks the summer is a bad time. Some of us like it. Yes. So, all right. So I actually went ahead and popped that into the chat so you guys can visit it yourselves if you'd like to, since there's no login required. I can also revoke that. So let me go back here. Let's say I don't want to share this dashboard with all you fine people, or it has been compromised or anything like that. just revoke it. Done. Okay. Gail says that was hard to see. All right, let's see. So I will do another one. Public URL for webinar section dash. All right, so I'm going to copy, close, come back over here. Now I'm going to refresh this one, which I just revoked. And ta-da! So I revoked it, can't see it anymore. That's as far as they will get. So the new one that I just created, voila, works just fine. So it's as simple as that to add and remove those. And the reason that you care about this is because you can use this to publish dashboards for your specific clients, right? So you can take a dashboard, you can filter it down, you can show just their tickets, just their open tickets, just give them exactly the stuff you care about. Maybe it shows them their open invoices, their tickets that are waiting on a response from them. Just whatever it is that's important to you. You know, you're showcasing the tickets that are waiting on them, or that you have great survey scores. All that stuff, you can go ahead, package it up in one dashboard, filter it on down. Oh, Brett says we lost audio. Bear with us. Let's get that figured out. Testing. Can you hear me? Okay, I guess we're good. Okay. Let's see. So Rob Wells, I see, is asking, is there a way to have multiple dashboards cycle for the viewer? And that right now is something that you can actually control with the browser. That is Revolver, the extension. Probably don't need guns. If you actually use something like, if you're using Chrome, they have a lot of extensions, but here's one that will actually rotate through the through the dashboards. So you could actually just open each dashboard in a tab, and this will run through them on whatever cycle you like. That's what we're suggesting folks do in the meantime. We do plan to build some of that functionality in, but right now that one works pretty well for folks. Okay. We have any questions on those direct URLs? Actually, let me go ahead and show you how those filters, well, this does not have a filter on it. I will explain it then. So if I were to filter this down, let's say I was on a normal, like a service management type dashboard. Let's find one. I won't. I'll just create a new one from template, right? Service management. All right, give that a second. These lookups won't load till the rest of the dashboard loads. There we go. All right, so filter that down just to the help desk. And let's wait for that. Switch my theme. Okay, and if I remove, all right, so when I save my filter, of course, did I just remove it? No, there, all right, so when I save that, when I make a new public URL, this one is going to be filtered to help desk only, and that one would be how I would share that. You use the same thing to filter by company or engineer if you wanted to do a personal productivity dashboard, like one of these. Let me go to one that's a clean trial and doesn't have testing stuff in it. There we go. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to be showing you my table widgets now. Not that guy. Let's pick anyone. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to my email and export data from a table widget. And let's grab one of these. Well, let this load for a second. We'll pop that out. I'm not sure why this dashboard wants to be so slow today. This is, of course, great timing. It's been behaving all day for testing, and now it's decided that it's the end of the day and it's going to take its sweet time. All right, let me grab a normal table here. Well, bear with me, folks. Not sure what is up with my drill down. Okay, sorry, not sure what that was about, but we are back in business. Okay, so emailing is pretty straightforward. Just grab this guy. If I want to export all, I just leave this deselected. If I wanted to grab just a few rows to send, let's say I saw something in here and I wanted to know, hey, what's going on with this one and this one? I could send it to Gail. What's up with these tickets? Gail, please help. Okay. And here, I'll even right now with these tickets. There we go. Well, I did not check the selected tickets, so I'm going to send them all apparently. But as you can see, I got that pretty quickly. And here is my export of my tickets that I can then turn into a pivot table, do whatever I want with. And similarly, I can dump those out straight to a CSP without emailing them. And that's where I would export. I'm going to get all my rows, so I'm not going to select. And you'll see it pop up down here like any other download. It doesn't like that I have to. It's opening up here. I've made Excel mad. And don't open multiple Excel workbooks with the same name or Excel will yell at you. That's trying to load over on the other screen and yelling at me. But yes, so that does let you go ahead and export to Excel, no problem, without going through the email route. But if you want to send the same stuff to somebody else, you don't have to download it and package it up. Just send it directly. All right, and last but not least today, we've got some widget customizations that we can do that have also been added, similar to what I've already shown you, but can't. All right, so I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to clone it. Open tickets, help desk only. So we've added in some controls here to there we go. This is obviously not something I would recommend you do. This one's pretty ugly, but it is just an example. I take this max size out normally. And here is where we can change the font. Yeah. Let's go with orange. Well, this is getting very ugly very quickly, so keep that in mind. All right, so here is our new and probably not very much improved, but I hope you have a much better color scheme in mind that you would like to do with yours. But you can basically now have granular control over the background and the text, all the different text, title, subtitle, and value. You've also got alignment options and margins as well. And for those of you who work in JSON, which is probably not many of you, but if you were to customize charts and things, we have added versioning here, so you'll be able to see previous versions if you modify the JSON directly. So do we have any questions right now? Did I skip over anything? Is there anything I can show you again? Any specific examples you're wondering about? Sunny asks if you can title a dashboard based on its filters. Sunny, when you save it, you're giving it the title yourself, so I'd go ahead and just name it whatever makes sense to you. I'd reference those filters, but it doesn't pop them in as parameters or anything in the title. Okay. All right. Marco asks if there's a template we can download with the Manage to Zero dashboard. Marco, we're going to go ahead and actually add that one into our catalog so we can push it to you. So that'll be no problem. That is made up entirely of existing catalog widgets. So it's just the dashboard layout that we have to give you, and you should be good to go. Sunny asks if there is a way to tell if the dashboard is filtered from the display. That is perfect timing because that is what we were about to take a look at, this browse mode. So it doesn't show in a public URL, right, where a customer would see that filter or an external person would see that filter. But we've added this browse option, which allows you to take a look at your widgets and see what the refresh interval is, when it last refreshed, if there is a refresh interval configured, any filters that are being inherited. I'm going to switch to light. It's a little easier for you guys to see. So any filters, so you'll see here board name is inherited. There's no value showing here, and that is because I'm going to go ahead and set that dashboard filter so you see it show up in the browse. So even though you see it is set to inherit, if there's nothing actually set at the dashboard level, it's still essentially just querying with no filters. So we are showing that. Should take it, I believe, without. Nope, I needed the quotes. Here we go. Syntax does count. All right. So let it load because this will start populating right after the dashboard loads. All right. So now the dashboard is up. It doesn't look like it's displaying my value even though it's in there, so we'll check on that. It's supposed to. All right, so this is where you can actually see the query that's being passed. So if you need to troubleshoot what's going on with one of these, instead of having to go dig back through to find the data query behind it, you can actually just debug it here, take a peek, see if that query looks fine or if there's something strange being passed. You would have seen this being passed and throwing a hissy fit without the single quotes earlier when I did that. And got all those data errors since I didn't have the quotes. And then where it says 1 equals 1, that just means that there's nothing being passed for that parameter. So we didn't set anything for the status or for the service type or the urgency. Those were all left blank. So those are what the 1 equals 1 represents. And this actually just shows you the return data, which then gets handled in the widget. And do we have anything else going on in the questions, Gail? Okay. So while I've got you here, all right, so we've got a bunch of folks, and here we go. So can you guys see that? There we go. All right, so if you guys could go ahead and let us know if you're trialing, if you're active, if you're both. Some folks are currently running CS4, CS3, and trialing CSP. Just wanted to get a feel for who's with us today. And I'll give that just another moment and wrap that up. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and close this one down and get to the next one. So if you are going to answer, please do so. Thank you so much. All right, very nice. So it looks like we have a pretty good mix. We've got some folks who are trialing. We've got some folks who are actively using CSP in production, and we've got some CS4 and CS3 folks. It's pretty even split, actually. So very nice. And I've got some questions about some specific widgets we've discussed today. So for the HTML widget, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Is that something you'll be able to take advantage of or use in your organization? So I'll give that just a couple more seconds and go ahead and move on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that one down. So hit submit if you want to, or forever hold your peace. Thank you. There we go. All right, so similar questions about a couple of the other ones that we've looked at. Same thing, direct URLs. Is that something you guys are going to take advantage of? All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this one down. So get your votes in, or we will miss out on your feedback. And I think we have just one more question. Let's see. So this one is the I can't even see. The email and export features for the data, where you can get the selected rows or the whole thing and either export it to Excel or send it off to a team member or a client for that matter. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, and then we have one more, and I promise we're done. Same thing with the color conditions. That's where you can highlight ticket or widgets that have too high of a value, too low of a value, or right on the nose. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap that one up. And of course, if there are any more questions, we can go ahead and take those now or wrap up for the day. All right, I don't have anything new, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up unless somebody... Michael just asked, are these stored for later viewing? Yes, Michael, there is a dedicated page you can see on our docs site for webinars and the archive. And it'll be right here. You can actually just sort by air date, and it'll be right there for you. And that'll be up tonight. Rob's asking about changing the yellow graph color that the white font is on. Rob, that is going to be probably discussed in our next new features with the additional color controls and things like that. I know they have a ton of theme and color palette type things available that are going to be controlling those for you. So you'll have more granular control of every widget that you've got, as well as the ability to kind of apply a theme across the board or set defaults that just get inherited by all your widgets. Rob is asking, is there access to the direct HTML code? Rob, what we'll do is we will make those widgets available in the catalog, so you can just steal that stuff right out of them if you want to use it or reuse it or figure out how to tweak it. Brett? So Brett's asking about modifying the dashboard after the public URL is created. Brett, if you change the filters, those will not be reflected. If you change the dashboard visually, moved widgets around, that will be reflected for your client or whoever the intended audience is. Let's see. So Matt's wondering where the catalog is. Matt, you can see all your widgets by going to your Widget Creator. And, nope, sorry, not new. And open, and they are all in here. You'll see a bunch. You can also search, so tickets, so on. So you'll get all in here. So you'll see everything custom and catalog widgets will be in there. So if you've added anything, you'll find them in there as well. I don't see any new questions, so if we don't have any more, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. All right, folks, you guys have been great. As I mentioned, this is going to be up on the site today, so you can come back and revisit the video or share it with folks on your team. Thanks so much, and hopefully we will see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.